95.7 The Wolf, the station of the Rock and Blues Nation.
For today's command, Bobby Allison.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Give your seatbelts a little tug there for me there, buddy. Get a little drink of Gatorade. Be safe. Have some fun, all right? Pace cars off. Be ready. Be ready. Coming to the green, buddy. Coming to the green. Let's go get him. Green flag, green flag.
I'm the bone cracker. I'm the bone cracker. I'm the come from behind. I'm the back attacker. I'm the bone cracker. I'm the bone cracker. I'm the get in your mind.
3 wide, you're in the middle.
Straight in your face, I'm like mace when you grind. You need a back brace a day that they find you. Unwind you, unbind you. You'll find that I'm lethal. I'm the PCP to you in a hand drill.
Caution is out, buddy. Caution is out. Roll out the throttle. There's a lot of guys running into the wall up there coming off the turn, so be careful.
Hi, I'm Johnny Benson, and you're listening to Energy Hour live with your host, Nick Storey, on 95.7 The Wolf.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to another edition of Energy Hour here live on 95.7 FM, The Wolf, out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. I'm your co-host, Nick Storey, and please join us for the next hour as we'll be talking with Mike Kaplan out of Nova Scotia. He's going to be on as a co-host here tonight. We're going to get him on the line here shortly. And we're also going to be talking to, he set up to have Wayne Smith on the show with us tonight. He is the driver of the number 44 Pro Stock in here in Atlantic, Canada. So we'll be talking to him tonight and find out a little bit about him and about the Petty International Raceway, which he is a co-owner down there and at that track. So we'll be talking a little bit about that track as well. You're welcome to place your comments on my Facebook profile. Check out Facebook, the Energy Hour Productions page, and check out the Energy Hour groups. You can post on there at any time and get any questions or any comments you have. We will get them on the air live here on the Energy Hour tonight on this April 10th, 2016, 10th season of Energy Hour. And 10 years. I still can't get over that. That's been a long time, and met a lot of good people in those 10 years around Atlantic, Canada, and around the racetracks here in Atlantic, Canada. So if you're out and about this summer and you're looking for something to do, get to your local tracks, support your local drivers and their local tracks, and get out to them and see the action that they put on, because these guys work hard on these vehicles every week, and it takes a lot of money to keep them rolling, to put on entertainment for us race fans out there. Speaking of races, NASCAR last night sucked for anybody that doesn't like Kyle Busch. For anybody that does like Kyle Busch, I guess I didn't suck, but that guy's on a roll this year. Like, hats off to him. He's a good driver. And I know a lot of people that are involved in the racing around Atlantic Canada and the stock car racing are big fans of NASCAR as well. So I want to say a little shout out here to Claudine's Eatery for coming back on board this year sponsoring. And hopefully we had O'Leary Buick GMC with us for the last 9 seasons. So this 10th anniversary, hopefully we'll get them back with us here. And be meeting with them this week to find out what's up and see if they're going to be back on board. I thank them very much as well for the last 10 years and everybody that's helped me out, all the guests, all the fans, and everybody that's been involved with the Energy Hour these last 10 years. There's so many people I can name. I've had different co-hosts in here with me, which is great. Got some great shows coming up. Got Jack Carr interested in coming in and being on the show. And I got the Gahans going to be coming in on the show again, a racing family here in Fredericton, New Brunswick. And And I know that Mike Kaplan's got a lot of stuff lined up for us too. And before Mike get into the oval racing, he was into the drag racing. So we're going to try to get some drag racing shows on as well. But we're going to go to a quick commercial here. That's how we get paid. That's how the show keeps rolling. Go to a commercial here, and when we come back, we should have Mike Kaplan on the line. So we'll be right back after this message.
Claudine's Eatery is put simply East Coast comfort food, serving everything from starters, soups, sandwiches, wraps, your traditional favorites, including steaks, seafoods, desserts, and of course, a full breakfast menu featuring their specialty Eggs Benedict. Claudine's is also licensed for your added meal enjoyment and provides free Wi-Fi. Stop into Claudine's East Coast Comfort Food, located at 146 Main Street. Call ahead to reserve a seat at 506-454-0430. Visit their website at www.claudineseatery.com and follow them on Facebook. Claudine's Eatery, a family-owned and operated business run by a mother-daughter duo. Stop in today to sample some of their East Coast comfort food.
And we're back live on the Energy Hour, and if technology is serving me well tonight, we have Mike Kaplan on the other line.
Well, good evening, Nick.
You gotta love it when it all comes together.
You sure do. By the way, do you realize we're one day closer to race season?
Oh, no. I gotta get my racing shirts out.
Yeah, and not just stock car racing, drag racing, the various types of racing throughout the area. And I see a lot of there's 2 or 3 dirt tracks that are now operating. And that's going to be an interesting field.
I see that. That's maybe the economy is going to be a little bit better, hopefully, this year, and people are going to be picking up and opening up these new tracks and getting the dirt tracks racing. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on this season. And like I was telling the folks before you come on, Mike, we're going to be talking a little bit about the drag racing and stuff. You've got a lot of history on that as well.
Oh, God. That brings me back to my old days. Matter of fact, I happened to be at a certain house today, and I went in and looked in the garage, and there was an old truck, and I'll tell you, it brought back old memories.
And I've seen a lot of people, especially Rick Cashew has them on a little bit. They're down. I got one of the bus drivers' names mixed up. Rick Cashew's got pictures on there, and see a lot of people posting pictures of the old cars and stuff from back years ago on Facebook, and bringing back a lot of old memories.
I sure did. Matter of fact, I saw one of my old race cars on there, and a little memo to me asking, hey, is that the one I used to race? And I tell you, when I look around, and I still have a few of the trophies here, I get rid of most of them. I had, last count was 115 from drag racing alone.
Wow. That's a lot of trophies.
Well, I'll tell you, we've got a guy coming on very shortly. Talk about trophies and talk about driving. This guy is going to have such a wealth of information for us. And I'll tell you, one guy that I've really admired over the years, and what a guy to talk to and for help, and that's Wayne Smith. And, of course, he's from down our area here, but he's been all over the place, even up to New Brunswick with Petty Raceway. We'll be talking to him about what it's like to go down south and race. That's a different kettle of fish again. We could do probably a show just on that.
That's true, yeah. And tell us where down home is for you.
Down home for me is in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. However, I've been everywhere from here all the way up to Miramichi and up as far as Sydney. I'd like to get over to Newfoundland. I don't know if it'll happen this year. It might just happen. And matter of fact, I might even go in the trunk of Tim Terry's.
There you go. You might be able to sneak over with him. maybe he's going to fly over there. He could get you a ticket to go along with him. But that's I'd love to get over there too. I'd love to see that eastbound park track there. And now the news out just last week or the week before, it's a NASCAR sanctioned track now.
Yeah, that takes a while. What it is, they pick up the sanction, and for a NASCAR race to actually appear, takes many years in the making. But it has to be sanctioned first, and of course there's certain rules and certain regulations that do have to be followed. And matter of fact, why don't we make it a point one night to get one of the guys on from over there, one of the owners, and we can look right into that.
Yeah, I talked to a few of the drivers when they were up to Speedway 660 there for an event, and said I'd like to get some of them on there, and they were more than willing. So we'll have to try to get connections and get them on and do a Newfoundland show some night.
Sounds great, and I tell you, they're a great bunch. I got to meet quite a few of them doing my announcing, especially at Riverside, and they were up in Sydney. They were Shediac, actually, and they had a great time. They're great competitors.
And also, we were talking a little bit about the old cars and the pictures on Facebook, but if you really want to see some of the old racing cars, all of racing, go down to the Maritime Motorsports Hall of Fame and check that out.
Oh, I'll tell you, it's great. This 10th year for the Hall of Fame, and I'd say 2 or 3 times during the year, all these cars, not all of them, excuse me, most of these cars will circulate elsewhere, and you'll have new cars in there. In the winter, the guys like to put them there. That's as good storage area as any.
Yeah, you got that right. On some of the upcoming events for 2016 is Girls' Night Out on April 23rd, and May the 1st is the Maritime Motorsports Hall of Fame annual meeting, and June the 4th, the annual car show. Poker run on October the 8th. November 19th is the induction ceremony. And November 20th is the induction breakfast. So some of the things coming up. Check it out on their, folks. Just go to their website, the Maritime Motorsports Hall of Fame.com, and you'll see everything on there of what's coming up and the times and stuff. And check it out. And you can also go on there and see some of the inductees that have already made it in there. And drive right down there as well. And it's not that far away. It's
worthwhile just to go into Petty Kodiak, and it's on 5 Hopper Lane there. As you come off the highway, you can see it. If you're coming from St. John area, it's on the right-hand side. If you're coming from Moncton and our area upwards, you just veer off the highway and look over to your left, and that's where it is.
And it's not too far away either from Moncton. You're only talking like 35 kilometers, 22 miles. If you're leaving from Sussex, the same thing. St. John is 62 miles, 100 kilometers, and Fredericton 112 kilometers, 70 miles. So there's a lot of people travel down to Moncton from Fredericton. So guys, just stop in Petticodiac and check that out. Like Mike said, on 5 Hopper Lane, Petticodiac, New Brunswick.
I don't know how I had that right. I tipped my tongue.
I wonder how.
Well, I tell you, it's Ernie McLean and Winona McLean. They put a lot of effort into it, along with a lot of the other volunteers. And I'll tell you, it's worthwhile having a look. And it's not expensive to get a membership if you would like to join. And we have a lot listed there on the website. And you can also buy a permanent membership.
And I've got to get down there myself this summer. I'm going to make a point of it. I'm going to get some of my biker friends together and make a trip of it and get down there and check that out this summer.
Why don't you have a bike show there?
Hey, that's what we should do. And speaking of that, a group that is here in Fredericton now, the Guardians of the Children, a biker group that deal with abused kids. They're going to be having a barbecue at Hardway Motorcycle Shop on the Wilsey Road here in Fredericton, down in Industrial Park. The second annual open house, and it's at 300 Wilsey Road across from Norco Transmission, and it's Saturday, June the 4th from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. So come on out and meet the chapter and meet these guys. And the Guardians also have a pledge run on June the 12th at 10 a.m. All bikes are welcome. I'm going to go on that. $20 per bike. And you go on a run with them and come back and meet a lot of good people. And I'm looking forward to that.
I wish I still had my bike. Anyways.
I hadn't had one for a while. I got one now. I'm very anxious to get it. Oh, thank you. So without further ado, I'm going to try to get the guy. What do you got lined up for this summer anyways, Mike? You're going to try to travel around. You're going to be doing some races yourself, announcing at some, because I know you keep very busy doing that, so you'll be around a few places.
Well, I'll be still doing the Napa Sportsman Series down in Riverside. Also, I'm not sure, and it hasn't come out yet, whether they're going to be traveling under that banner to Sydney or not, but I will be up in Sydney for their 6 races. I've got about 12 events already booked and 3 that are on the planning stage. Other than that, I want to get around to some of these drag strips. I'm planning to go up to Miramichi, and I want to get down to Greenfield, and I've been given an invitation to both those areas.
Yeah, so I'm going to cue up a song, a local artist right here out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. I got to cue up one of his songs there and play. It's by Steve Whalen, called Big Train. And you hold on the line there, Mike. I'm going to put you on hold there for a bit. And when we come back, we should have Wayne Smith with us, joining us on the show.
Sounds great, as long as I don't have to sing.
No, we'll let Steve do the singing here.
Okay.
Okay. We'll be right back, folks. And this is Steve Whalen, Big Train.
Big train, keep on rolling. It's a big train, roll down the track. You know my baby is waiting. So big train, won't you carry me back? I've been working in that western old way. I'm gonna leave those lonely prairies far behind. Kapuskason's in the rear, and then it's off to Montreal. Matamora, I'll be in those Maritimes. Said big train, keep on rolling. The big train, roll down the track. 'Cause you know my baby is waiting. So big train, won't you carry me back? My baby comes from a railroad town. She's waiting with her arms out, there's no doubt. So won't you keep it wide open till it's time to throttle down. And when you see that junction sign, driver, throw me out. Said big train, keep on rolling. Come on, big train, roll down the track. 'Cause you know my baby is waiting. So big train, won't you carry me back? Come on, son.
And we are back here live on the Energy Hour. I'm your host, Nick Storey, and let's see how technology is working tonight. I think we may have Wayne Smith on the line. Are you there, Wayne?
Yes, I am.
Well, welcome to the Energy
Good
Hour.
evening, Wayne.
I got Mike Kaplan on here as well, as you noticed.
Yeah.
Hey, Wayne, it's great to have you. You must be getting anxious now. The weather's starting, well, I shouldn't say, after looking out this morning with the snow, it didn't break, but we're supposed to get some nice weather, and the old racing season, the bug is starting to hit.
Yeah, it is. We actually just got back from the racetrack. We were up there the weekend, and we didn't get no snow up there, so that was good. We did a little bit of work and got some things done.
Hey, what's with this? No snow up there. So you got up there so you get away from our snow. But anyways, yeah. Wayne, you know, when I think of you and racing, I look back. Of course, I've been involved a few years. Wayne, when did you start in racing?
And you're asking a lot of questions now. I was 16. I'm 51 now, so I mean it's a long time ago. So I don't know the exact date.
How did you get started?
Well, my father used to do some racing back in the day, and you know, we were sitting around one day talking and decided to go down and buy a mini stock that was down in Parisboro, and we went down and got it and come home and did some work to it, went to Truro and started racing.
Yeah, that Truro Onslow Raceway.
Yep.
Yeah, and I tell you, a lot of people look at that and remember it because it was sort of central there. And, of course, then you went from there into what?
Then I went from there and started racing at Scotia Speedway. There, they started running there on Friday nights, and we raced Friday nights there and Sunday afternoons in Truro.
You love the sport.
Oh yeah.
You actually got involved quite heavily in NASCAR.
Yeah, we raced NASCAR. Like I said, I don't know the exact dates, but we raced like 23 years, I think they said it was, that we raced straight, never missed a weekend.
And carried home how many championships?
6.
Isn't that fantastic? And, of course, then from NASCAR, they developed the Pro Stock. What was the feeling when all of a sudden that change came about?
It was, really no big deal. Cecil took it over, which was good for racing. He had a lot of back in there, and the racing continued on the same as it was when it was back in the NASCAR days, so you really didn't even realize it changed.
Well, I can remember, Nick, I don't know if you remember back when NASCAR was really hitting pretty heavy and traveling throughout the Maritimes here, but I'll tell you, it was great racing.
Yeah, I seen when it came into NBIS at the time when I first started racing up here. I've seen some of it, and I've also seen some of the videos. And I regret that I never get into racing earlier. I get into watching some NASCAR and stuff, and I drove truck across the U.S. when I was younger, and never knew that I was near these tracks and everything, that I could have been at them watching these races and everything. But I really got started into the stock car just working around the shop with my cousin, doing some sheet metal work on the cars and stuff, and then I get into it even more once I get helping him around the shop, and then helping some other guys.
Well, once you get the bug, you get the bug. Wayne, what type of changes really was seen when the transition from NASCAR to Pro Stock?
Like I said, there wasn't a lot of real changes. I mean, the biggest change was, like I say, Cecil there to back it, that could afford to back it and keep it going as good as he did today.
And maybe we should just touch a bit on what actually is a Pro Stock.
It's a built car. I mean, a lot of guys buy them. I built quite a few myself right here in my own garage and raced them. They're just a 2-chassis frame with not really no stock suspension on them at all. It's a fiberglass body that they put over the top of it, and today with the body style that they have, it's a pretty nice looking car.
Well, they are fast. And matter of fact, talking about speeds, and we've been asked this many, many times, and when I look at them, I'm calling a race. I say they're fast. To what speeds would these cars be getting on a quarter mile?
I suspect, like we don't have speedometers and we go by times, like a stopwatch time, but we'll say like Petty Raceway, I suspect they're going about 80 mile an hour, I would say.
And that's fast because you have a very short straight stretch and you've got mostly turns.
That's right. It's a quarter mile racetrack and you got 4 corners and 2 stretches.
Okay. I'd like you to take us through because nobody would be any better to describe him. You're sitting in a race car and you're hitting the track. What goes through your mind when you're out there on the track?
Well, you got race cars around you, so you got to watch what's going on, and you got walls. You're trying to do the best you can do, and without wrecking your gear, so you're there at the end of the race and try to win it.
God, I know in drag strip, you're going straight down the line. That's not a real problem. You don't care who's alongside of you. You just got to get there first. However, I was in a stock car. I know what you're talking about, and I just didn't have it, not like, maybe that's the reason I didn't last too long stock car racing. You still have to have that little something in you in order to go stock car racing. I don't care what they say.
It's a different deal. I mean, you got to drive her down in the corner there and hit your marks every time and try to maintain the same speed every lap. So that's the key of winning a race.
What would you give as your feeling on how should a person start as far as stock car racing? Surely you're not going to jump right into a pro stock first going off.
Well, I mean, today they're using the Bandolero cars, which is really good. I mean, they started 8 years old, and most of them race till they're about 16, and then move on to either a mini stock or street stock, and a lot of them are jumping right into a pro stock. Now, this year at Petty Raceway, we have what we're calling Women on Wheels, which I think back in the day when they used to do Speed World, that's what they called them, and I don't think it ever happened in New Brunswick. So we got a class that's women only, and they have to be beginners that they never raced before.
I'll tell you, Wayne, congratulations on that, because I guess I haven't been following it too closely what's going on as yet. But hearing about the Women on Wheels, that just makes me feel great. I don't know how you feel. As an announcer, I'm watching these ladies that are in the classes that are in now. They are great racers. They seem to have more patience. They seem to have more upstairs. And I don't know what it is. It just makes them, I'm going to put it out in the line. I know people are going to get mad at me. They seem to be a little better racers.
Well, we had a demolition derby there last year, which was the first one we ever had at Petty. And we had 16 cars in the pits, and 15 of them, we had a women's race, and they went out and they did a 15-lap race, and we never had a caution, and we never had a car hit a car, and they went 15 straight laps.
I was talking to one of the ex-racers just about 3 or 4 days ago at the grocery store, and she used to race and they used to call them powder puff back then, and then they changed it to Women on Wheels. So leading into that, and Petty all of a sudden came to life a few years ago. What brought about the getting in and bringing that one alive again?
Well, we were here in the garage one night working on my pro stock, and Craig showed up and just got talking, and he said, you should give Jerry Campbell a call and see if he would be interested in selling the racetrack. So, you know me, I went and give a call, and Jerry said, for sure we're interested in selling. So we jumped in the car that weekend and drive up and sat and talked to him, and I think it was like 4 months later we owned it.
Oh, my. I tell you, that is a big chore. One thing we did bring on a few shows ago about a lot of the drivers, get out and register early so people like yourself who own the track can actually start planning things and know where you're going. How much is that an advantage?
It's an advantage, but I mean, we've been in a situation where the first year we opened, we decided we would register all the mini stocks, and we had 60-some cars registered, and I said, you know what, we got to stop taking reservations here because, we won't be able to maintain all those cars in the pits. So anyhow, race day come, and we had 6. Some people just like to get their name on the entry list, I think, and they don't even show up to race sometimes. But it is very important. It gives us an idea of how many cars are coming, and so you can do a little bit of advertising on their name.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll take my hat off to you because I've been up there a number of times. A couple of things. The staff there are very, very professional. They treat you like human beings, and what you've done to that track. It seems like every year you're doing something different.
Yeah, we this year we finished our wall off. We got the whole backstretch wall in now. It's not quite backfilled yet, but once the weather breaks here in the next week or so, we'll get that backfilled, and then we're going to move from there, and we're going to move on to the grandstands and try to make the grandstands better.
How the other thing that really has come to light in the last few years because of situations, how important have you addressed safety factor?
Well, we try to address it as best we can. We try to keep it as cheap as we can for the racer. This year now, the insurance company come along and mandated that we have to update all the helmets to get rid of the DOT helmets and no M-style helmets, which is a motorcycle. So that's quite a cost to the racer at this point, but it's not the track's fault. I mean, all the tracks in the Maritimes have to do it. It's just one of those things that we have to do. There's some people complaining, but there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, safety is number one. I don't care which way you look at it. We saw various things happen. We saw a bad fire, for instance, down in Riverside. And because everybody was trained, everybody was right there, and everything got addressed properly, they came away without, except for probably a couple egos damaged and a couple cars having some heat to them, it was well looked after.
Yeah, I was there that night, and it definitely was a bad fire. I've been in racing a long time, and really, safety, we don't push safety hard enough, I think, but, the racer can only afford so much, and, we've been lucky over the years that no one really got hurt bad other than a couple that we don't want to mention at this point, but, other than that, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, talking about hurt, I hate bringing up things of the past or so on. There's two people that I'd like to mention that we lost just in a short little while ago. And you probably remember one of them. You would remember both of them, but one was Beetle Bill Jones, who was well known in the area. He had passed away this past little while, and also Junior Kelly. And we'd like to pass our condolences to both those families.
Yep. Yeah, like I say, I raced with Junior Kelly, and he's a good racer. I didn't know Bill Jones that well, but Frank Jackson, which was my car owner at the time, he used to work on Bill's car, so he knew him quite well.
Oh, I remember him well. You never knew what he was going to do next, but he was a real thrill. He reminded me a bit of Cy Harvey. You never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I know what Cy's all about. I've been a race with Cy for years, so I know what you're saying there.
I can remember he parked his car right on the front stretch of Scotia Speed World one night, pro stock, and he jumped out of his car and went to the pits. At that time, he was looking at getting into a Legend. And he came over to me, and we're walking. I said, Cy, what are you doing? He put his arms around me. He says, look at those fools. They think I'm mad and everything else and getting all upset. They'll haul that car away and no worry, and they'll get on with the race. I said, you're not going to do that in Legends. He says, I think you'll kick me out, wouldn't you? Yep.
Yeah. So I was probably saving a little gas here trying to get so you didn't have to drive it back to the pits to get the tow truck taken.
Oh, well, racing season coming up close. Petty's opening when?
Long weekend of May 21st at 4 p.m. Sportsman racing and street stocks, mini stocks, bandos. Our Women on Wheels don't start till mid-season somewhere. We're only going to do 3 shows this year for them just to see how it's going to go. And we know it's going to start off slow. I think we got 6 or 7 cars built at this time, but we're hoping to grow that to 15 or 20 to make a good show out of it.
What kind of cars are they using?
Any North American 4-cylinder car, up to a 2.4 motor, like PT Cruiser, Sunfire. We're not going to allow no Hondas because there's too many parts out there for them, and we're trying to keep it cheap. And like I say, they're not allowed to do nothing to the car. Just take the interior out, put an H-bar on them, and door plate on them, and go racing.
Okay, so that's open to anybody who wants to go racing then.
Any woman that never drove a race car before can start doing it at Petty Raceway.
Well, I'm just trying to think. When you said never driven a race car before, So in other words, those that have been in their race cars over the last few years in other classes, they're not eligible.
That's right. We want to start off fresh to make it fair. I mean, Patricia Taylor races our track, and she's a good little runner, so we wouldn't want her to build one of those cars to come out there and win all the races. We were trying to make it fair for everybody.
And then, of course, on May 21st also at Scotia Speed World, they'll be starting off with the Lucas Oil 100. And on June 11th, they head down to Riverside International Speedway for the Ron McGilvery Chev Buick GMC 150. And down in Antigonish also will be the opening day of the Napa Sportsman Series. And maybe, Nick, have you got Win 660 and Miramichi will be opening up?
I think I can help you with that. Speedway 660 will be open for practice and pre-tech on May the 14th. And Gary, New Brunswick, and then the racing will start up with the Riverview Ford Lincoln season opener. Going to be at 2 p.m. on May the 15th.
God, I should go up there and celebrate my birthday, which is the 16th, not the 15th.
And we won't go any further than that, on an age or anything. But as Wayne said, Wayne and I are both. Wayne and I are both 51, and that's how many years you've been into the racing.
Wayne, you just keep quiet there. By the way, if anybody's down this way, and Wayne has a real nice shop out in Timberley area, maybe you can just give an address there, Wayne.
It's on 207 Greenhead Road we're a mechanic shop, and me and my brother there run it, and it's pretty successful. And anybody needs something done is welcome to come there, and we can help them out.
And that'll cost you another $10, by the way.
Yeah, I'll add it onto the bill.
I'll pay my entry into Petty with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Wayne, when you're looking at the racing, you must see quite a difference from years ago to the way racers are right today. What would your comparison be?
Well, back in the day, like when we were running, we'll say NASCAR, I mean, you come home in your garage and you worked on your race car, you got it ready. Really back in those days, the setup wasn't as important as the driver was. Today, I think the setup's very important. I think everybody out there can drive a race car, but they just can't get it handling like they could back. And the car today needs a handle because all the drivers are so good today. So you got more technology. You got guys like Gary Crooks and Dean Clattenburg, Mike McKenzie now. He's more or less doing all setups. You got Jonathan Hicken. That's all they do is setups down there. And it's getting to that point where you need those guys because they know so much. They got so much in their brain that you need them to help you to get the cars to make them work today.
Okay, I'm going to hit on one other controversial sore point. Something that and I'm going to talk personally on this one, and maybe I'm wrong, but you can correct me. I got a real good feeling that the only way that this really is going to take off to the next level if our tracks can get common on the rules. Am I right or am I wrong?
We've been pushing this common rule for the sportsman cars for the last 5 years. We started as Petty Raceway, started doing this, getting together with the tracks and having meetings, and it's been working fairly good. We still got some problems with some stuff that's not 100%. Right now, with the way the sportsman cars are, they can basically pretty much go from track to track and not change on. There's a couple minor things that's not the same, but we're working on it very hard, and it's tough. You got some racers that want it, some racers that don't want it. So the tracks, we don't want to lose cars, so we try to accommodate them for that. And we run into a situation last year with the exhaust. All the tracks agreed for the exhaust, and then it didn't actually happen that way. So there's some tracks lost some cars. So it's tough. It's a tough thing to try to get all together.
Well, I wasn't referring to either that, let's say if you're running at Riverside, you got a high bank, you might have to put different gears or change a few minor things for that. To your track, it's a little less. Scotia Speed World's only about a 10% bank. Sydney is another one. And actually, there's another track that will be opening up shortly also, and they're getting all their nuts and bolts together. They've been up there working with sponsors, and Bill and Lynn Vassell have done a great job up in Sydney. And how about getting your entries in early up there? Please support all the tracks, because without you, they don't have a race. Without the fans, they can't support the race. And it's, I use this terminology a lot. They're not in it for their health. If they want a health, they stay away from it. But I'll tell you, they enjoy. Everybody who's involved in racetracks today has to be in it because of the love of the sport first. And that's what's driven them to get in that way. And they'd like to have it so, you get a good number of racers, you get lots of attendance, and everything goes smooth. Wayne, am I wrong in that?
You're 100% right. I mean, it takes a lot of support. I mean, no growth. We're there every week. We're trying to make $1. We're not getting rich at this. So yes, it takes everybody. It takes everybody from in the pits to the grandstands to the canteens to the whole bit to make it all work. To about to keep it going.
And also, we'd like to thank Petty there for offering the 50-50 draw and all the help they've given to the Maritime Motorsport Hall of Fame, because I know they've well appreciated all the support you've given them there.
Yeah, we try to help all we can. It's a tough thing. It's like I said, every dollar helps the track, and it's one of those things that it helps everybody.
Yeah, any chance of letting Nick Storey go around that track on his motorcycle while the women on wheels are there and racing at the same time?
Providing the women will let them. It don't matter to us. I mean, if you got a good helmet on and ready to go, we'll let them do it.
Oh. I was thinking maybe get Mike to wear a dress and put him in the car.
Yeah, that would look good, and we could do that probably too, because probably the women would beat him anyhow.
Now, Wayne, you and I used to be good friends.
Well, you told me you wasn't that good of a racer.
That's true. I admit it. I never did, and this is the truth. I never did carry a checkered flag around a stock car track.
Oh, there you go. Oh, well, maybe you can come up and get in one then.
Oh. Hey, Nick, you get in one car, I'll get in the other.
You probably never wore a dress in a race car before either, Mike.
Actually, there's another thing that many, many years ago, Wayne, that was pulled off at Scotia Speed World, actually, was a staff race. They borrowed cars, and they had a staff race. And that was canceled the year that I started, because I just wouldn't go in one of the cars at the time. No, all kidding aside. They did cancel it, I believe it was the year that I started. But there's another thing that would be quite a thing to watch.
Yeah, we thought about that kind of stuff, but, those guys out there with a lot of money in their race cars today, and even a four-cylinder car, there's a lot of investment there, so we didn't want to take their cars and somebody get out there and put one in the wall or spin out and someone run into them and wreck their car on them. That's why we didn't do it.
Yeah, that was happening with media races.
Pardon me? That you broke up there, Mike.
Yeah, I said we used to have media races, and once a year had somebody from each of the radio stations around, or TV station, what have you. And matter of fact, one guy that I've got a picture here actually was Scott Boyd. Was out in the track along with a few of the others, and it was quite interesting.
Yeah, I remember those guys back in the day. I mean, I remember back at Scotia Speed World, we used to have shopping cart races. You'd get four people. It didn't have to be guys, and the driver of the race car would get in the shopping cart, and they would push you to each corner, 4 different spots, and come around and see who'd win.
Well, I'm just throwing things out now that I remember. We even had a triathlon. they went to a golf par 3, or not a par 3, putting area, and they had a team of 4 from each car. They did that. Then they came back and they did a running relay, and then they had a tire change relay, and then they had a race if one of those didn't come off.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't recall that one, but yeah, there's all kinds of things you can do. It's just our biggest problem is we live in Halifax. Our track's in New Brunswick, and it's hard to get back and forth and make all this stuff happen.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
I was in one of those media races down at Scotia Speed World. I think it was the last one they had down there, and being into racing at Speedway Miramichi, which was the Douglastown Speedway at that time, I was kind of weary about it. I got there, and the guys give their 4-cylinder cars up to do it. We had 12 laps to run, 10 of us. And I was really weary about that, taking somebody else's car out like that, and because these guys put a lot of money and a lot of time into it, and yeah, with that being said, like it's hard to run one of these media races or whatever. I can understand that for sure.
Well, you know, we ran it a few years, and I can't remember any car that got damaged. I remember one I think it was Liz driving one of the cars, and she forgot to change gears, or she missed a gear or something. And that was the only thing that scared us. And then there was no damage done at that time either. But everybody came away with the car in the same shape as what they lent it.
Yeah, and it did down there at Scotia Speed World that night as well. Nobody had any damage or anything done or anything. We were pretty cautious out there, but just... You never know. One little thing, blow a tire and go into somebody, and there's a couple cars that are done. So it's probably a good idea.
Oh, listen, you can come up with all kinds of different ideas, and I'm sure Wayne and his crew there have been trying to come up with some little, and excuse the expression, gimmick to make things happen, to make it interesting for the crowd, to get them into it. And I don't know what it is. We just got to find a way to melt the cars, the drivers, and the fans together to make it a real good experience.
And I think that's a pretty good thing that Wayne came up with there in the Petty track, bringing these women in to racing that's never been in a race car before and getting them started out like that. That'd even be fun to watch for the crowd, and bring more women in to watch their friends racing, and I think that's a great idea. But anyway, that being said, we're running out of time. That's been a great show. The time, everybody thinks an hour is a long time, but it goes by pretty fast. So I want to, at this moment, thank the number 44 Pro Stock driver Wayne Smith for coming on the show with the Energy Hour tonight. I want to thank as well Mike Kaplan, yourself, for being the co-host tonight and doing a great job as always. And hopefully we can get you guys on here again sometime throughout the summer and fall and tell a little bit more about what's going on at the track.
Well,
okay, Nick, just before you go, Wayne,
yes?
Give us the total number of championships you have right now under your belt.
In Pro Stock, I have 6. I mean, I won a couple sportsman races, championships. I won a mini stock. I won a street stock. So I don't know the total number, but we got 6 Pro Stocks for sure.
Well, there you go. Listen, Wayne, I'd like to thank you very much for the opportunity to have you on the show. I know Nick was so excited when I said, I think I can get Wayne Smith to come on the show. And, boy, you have not disappointed us.
I appreciate it. Anyhow, Mike, if you want to come down and race with them women some night, then we'll have something to talk about on this show.
I'm sorry. I'm busy calling a race somewhere.
Okay, Mike.
Well, I'll be down to see you for sure. I never met you personally, Wayne. I stood beside you, I think, down at the Speedway 660 one night there in the pits at the benches, but I never like to bother anybody while they're watching the races and working on the cars and stuff, so I kind of stayed back, but we'll meet you this summer down at the Petty track.
Okay. Anytime you want to come, just come down and we're there, and come over and find me and we'll talk.
Right on. And then next time we get you on the show, we're going to talk to you a little bit about the driving on the other side of the border.
Okay, yep, sounds cool.
Right on. Well, you have a good night, and thank you very much for being on the show.
I appreciate it.
So, Mike?
Well, thanks a lot there, Nick. And, hey, great show again.
Okay, Mike, thank you very much. And we'll talk to you this week sometime. And a great show here on the Energy Hour on 95.7 The Wolf. We're going to get some more drivers lined up and get some on from over Newfoundland.
Sounds great.
Okay, good night, guys.
Thanks.
And we are back here, and I've got a little bit more information for you guys tonight. Before I leave the air, I want to thank you all for listening in, and I want a little bit about what's going on here. So next weekend, get ready, because it's going to be the 42nd annual Radical Speed Sport down in Moncton at the Moncton Coliseum. So get down to that this Friday night coming up at April 15th. It's going to be starting up, and it's from 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. Saturday the 16th from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. Sunday, April 17th, 10 a.m. till 7 p.m. So the countdown is on. You got 4 days, 17 hours, 3 minutes and 37 seconds. So get down and check out some awesome cars. There'll be some race cars there as well, and motorbikes and trucks and just everything there at the speed sport at Moncton Coliseum. And they've got a lot of people coming to the show as well, some celebrities there, so get down and check that out. And also coming up in Fredericton, New Brunswick, the 2016 Fred Rock, the Frex Rock, not Fred, Frex Rock, May the 6th to the 8th. We'll be in town here down at the exhibition grounds in the Coliseum, and it'll be from Friday from 12 till 10 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. till 10 p.m., and Sunday from 10 a.m. till 5. So get down and check that out at the Capital Exhibit Center here in Fredericton, New Brunswick. A couple of car shows coming up in the next little while. So check them out and get ready for racing, because racing is just around the corner. Like they were saying a while ago, they're all starting up. Most of the tracks are starting up in May, so it's not too far away. We've only got a few weeks away, and we'll be starting the racing up. You'll be hearing the roaring of the engines, and I bet you a lot of people are getting excited right now in their shops working on their cars. And I've seen a lot of pictures on Facebook. You check it out on Facebook, you'll see all these race car drivers posting their pictures and how the cars are coming along, and hopefully we can get a lot of those race car drivers in this season. Next week, we're going to do a little bit of talking. We got Jennifer Donovan coming in and Julie Como, and they're going to talk a little bit and share a little bit about what they do and give a little bit back to our race car fans and race car drivers and families. Just a little bit of give back for the 10 years that I've been doing the show, and we're going to talk about a few things that goes on, and trying to keep positive energy in your life, and positive. How about keeping positive about racing, or what it may be? And because I know there's a lot going on around, and I know we've all struggled, a lot of us, with depression and different things throughout our life. So we're kind of giving back a little bit to everybody that supported me, and having some people in as well to talk about these things and mental health as well. It all goes together. So just stay positive, and stay tuned in to 95.7 The Wolf for the Rock and Blues, of course, and tune in every Sunday night at 8 p.m. to listen to the Energy Hour and some of our great guests that we're going to have on. So that being said, time is running out again as well. So I'm your host, Nick Storey, and again, I'd like to thank Mike Kaplan for his wonderful job co-hosting tonight, and for the number 44 Pro Stock driver out of Halifax, where'd that come from? Not Mike. He doesn't drive anymore. Well, maybe he might be in a petty race with the ladies in the lady race wearing his dress, but we'll see about that this summer. So check it out, and check out Petty International Raceway for that to be up. And what I was getting to, I guess, was the number 44 Pro Stock driver, Wayne Smith. Thank him a lot for being on the show as well, and welcoming him back in the future with the shows. And anybody wanting to be on the show and get things out there, just contact me on Facebook and we'll get you on the show for sure. Get your announcements out there. So right now, if you're not running with the pack, you've lost the draft here on the Energy Hour. And here we go. Stay tuned. Get your radios turned up, because right now we're going to be putting some rock and blues on for you. So listen to 95.7 FM, The Wolf. And see you again next week. Night, folks.
95.7 The Wolf.